God is a Bullet is a 2023 film directed by Nick Cassavetes, and I want to get these names out of the way first. Nick Cassavetes, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, directed it, and this film stars, I'm going to try here, Nikolai Kostner Waldo, something like that. Foreign name, I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. Him, as well as Micah Monroe, and this film is also not starring, but it has Jamie Foxx in it. But Jamie Foxx is kind of used a lot in the marketing. However, he doesn't show up in the film a lot. So I do want to say that immediately that a lot of people might go into this film expecting a lot of Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is not in the film a whole lot. Now, Nick Cassavetes, he's directed a bunch of very different films. Like this guy is he's known for directing The Notebook, which I love that film, but he's also known for directing Alpha Dog. So way different switch up in kind of tone when it comes to the film. And this one, when I found out that he directed Alpha Dog, I can see where he got his chops to direct this film because those two are pretty similar. But he's known for like doing some Nicholas Sparks adaptations, so it's very strange how he bounces back and forth between the two. But I discovered this film randomly. I just landed on the trailer, and the trailer looked sick, and it looked like a film that would be right up my alley. And then I realized that it was based on a book, so I decided to read the book first, and I finished it very recently. I mean, it's a brutal story. First of all, the book is described as like a machine gun pace kind of thing, like a lot of cursing, a lot of like gross. It has to do with trafficking, so the plot is already gross in and of itself. But the way things are described and the way things happen, it's just really sickening. Like it's kind of one of those things that you need a shower afterwards. So I thought the book was good. I didn't fall in love with it or anything like that, but it's a very like quick paced book. It's 370 pages and it goes by quick, and a lot of things happen like one after the other, and it's very adrenaline focused. It's very anxiety driven kind of thing. It's one of those writing styles that's just quick paced, and the film is pretty similar. So I watched the film like 2 days ago, and one thing there's a lot of things that I liked about the film. The film's not perfect or anything like that. I don't know what I like better. I think I'm landing on the book better than the movie, which is usually the case. But the film also was really good. The best thing about the film is that it is 2.5 hours. So that runtime gives a lot of opportunity to showcase what the book, like what happened in the book, in order, and they do a really good job in that, doing the play by plays. Now they change some things here and there, especially the ending of the movie is different than the book. But when it comes to the plot points of the book, the movie does a really good job in doing them faithfully to how the book played out, kind of thing. So I did respect that a lot. Now, the lead character, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name again, but the main guy, he plays a guy named Bob. And the story essentially is there's this, it's about cults, really. It's about this cult led by this guy named Cyrus, and Cyrus is the main cult leader kind of thing. And he's very deep involved in trafficking, essentially. And he basically kidnaps girls and drugs them and puts them on heroin and sells them and uses them and then abuses them and usually murders them in really like sacrilegious, like culty, like satanic, like Sodom kind of ways. It's like I said, it's a really brutal film. So you're gonna have to have the stomach to handle either the book or the film. But this guy Bob, his daughter's kidnapped. I think she's like 14. She's 14 in the book ish, and then she's 14 in the movie as well ish, around that age range. And he's a cop. This guy named Bob, and he interrogates this witness or this girl that was involved with this cult and happened to escape. So he questions her, played by Micah Monroe. Micah Monroe. I don't know if it's Micah or Mika, but the girl from It Follows, basically. And she's popping up in a lot of stuff. She's a really good actress, and she really hammers it home in this one. She plays like a hardcore junkie and a girl with a lot of PTSD and a lot of trauma, and she really nails her role in this one. So her performance is really good. And basically, Bob interrogates her. Her name is Case, and that's kind of a pun there. She's kind of a case, right? He interrogates her, and then she starts to give him a little bit of information, and then he decides to go rogue. So he decides to kind of say, like, I'm not doing the police procedure shit. I'll work with you if you know how to like lead me into this underworld. Take me there because I'm ready to give like risk everything. I'm ready to give up everything and risk everything to get my daughter back. And he does, and he goes into this criminal underbelly, and it gets wild. Like there's there, it's one of those films that you can take it as far fetched, sure, but the way it's played out in both the book and the film, it's just so you although a lot of things that happen are like, yeah, this guy would be killed in 2 seconds, you still buy into it. You still buy into it in the book, you still buy into it in the film, just because of how the adrenaline plays. And this film is like an adrenaline rush with everything. There's amazing shootouts, especially in the third act. It's crazy. And it's all like in the desert landscapes. This all takes place in like Southern California, like Mexico border kind of thing. There's a few moments. I don't know how much in the movie they go into Mexico, but they do definitely go into Mexico in the book. And you have this like kind of character bond between Case and Bob, and they kind of fill each other's voids and they help each other out in certain ways. A lot of people didn't buy the chemistry between the two and like was saying like, oh, how would these guys like, especially when they start to get a little bit romantic. It's like how would they, what would they have in common kind of thing. But I'm like, no, I disagree. I totally buy it. I mean, you got one vengeful vengeful motherfucker, played by Bob, who literally is ready to do anything, including die, to get his daughter back. And then you have this girl, Case, who lived, like, went through the most brutal trauma you can possibly go through and happened to escape. And now she's willing to bring this guy back into the world that she just escaped from. Yeah, this film goes into some crazy places. It says the F word a lot, and other words, and it definitely it's it's in your face with its subject matter for sure. There's a scene at the grocery store, which is again Micah Monroe. Her performance is legendary. She sees this woman who like resembles her mother a lot, but she's an adult now. Like she got kidnapped as a kid, and this is like probably 15, 20 years later, something like that. And she sees this woman that reminds her of her mom, and she's just following her through the store. And then she has these tears going down her face, and she's just like, Mama? And she says it literally like a little girl. And then the woman's like, what do you want? Why are you following me? Kind of thing. And then one of the cult members, a female cult member, comes to protect her, and she's like, "Hey, shut up, you stupid fucking cunt! I'm gonna fucking slit your throat if you mess with her again." Just like one thing this film did really, really well is portray the cult members really scary. Like, man, the cult members look terrifying. There's an opening scene where a little girl's kidnapped, and the mother's stupid because she just goes into the grocery store and just leaves the girl. But then these cult members come, and they're everywhere. Like the little girl like tries to run away. She turns a 180 and there's somebody right behind her. And then she turns this way and there's somebody coming this way and somebody coming that way. And they're just ambushing this girl. And it's terrifying. But the costume design and the makeup design on the cult members are perfect. And this grocery store scene, I lived in Hamilton, Ontario for quite a few years, and I watched this scene where this chick is running up to the lady and be like, "Hey, you stupid fat fucking cunt," and I'm just like, that's just a typical normal day in Hamilton. Not that Hamilton has a lot of cult members, but it's definitely full of some sketchy people. Let me tell you that much. But yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow of a film. Some people will say it's too long for sure, but I don't know. I'm comparing it to the book, and because it's so faithful to the book. I respect that because I think films should be as faithful to its source material as they possibly can be. That's what I respect in adaptations. But as a film, as a standalone film itself, I can see why people would find it probably a little bit too long. It's a little uneven often. There's certain scenes that are oddly directed. I wouldn't say clumsy directed, but like oddly directed. Like certain choices are like, that seems a little bit too goofy. That seems a little bit too comedic. That seemed a little bit too cheesy kind of thing. There's certain moments like that. So it's not the perfect film in the world. I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Um, but I still had a really good time with it, and it got better as it went along. Like the second act was way better than the first act, and the third act was way better than the second and the first act. And yeah, I mean, that desert shootout at the end, man, just stay for that if anything. But like great acting all around, and Jamie Foxx again, he plays a good character, but he really doesn't show up a whole lot. He also didn't in the book. The character that he plays just pops up here and there. But for what he's given and what he's like the scenes that he's in, he does a really good job in it too. They just really try to sell the movie with him because he's like the biggest name in it. It's one of those situations, but overall, God is a Bullet is a bullet of a film. Let me tell you, and I recommend both the book and the film. So go check out either, whatever tickles your fancy. This is a film channel, so I'm gonna obviously talk about the film more, but it's a recommendation for me, and I say go stream it somewhere or go find it somewhere. It's out on Blu-ray as well, and I would buy it on Blu-ray personally. And yeah, see for yourself. Just prepare for the runtime, like I said, but the performances and the action scenes alone. I wouldn't say the pacing is perfect, but when it comes to the action, when it comes to the performances, hands down, top notch, in my personal opinion. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I will be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.